And so the big thing about scams is that they hinder marketplace trust is when you're out there, and so if you run into a bad player before, I'll just hypothetically just say a plumber. Now you don't trust all the plumbers. And so who do you trust, or whatever industry it's in. You go buy furniture at a furniture store and you had a bad experience and you go, we got to go buy furniture again. It wasn't good last time, So, so the more we do to protect ourselves in the marketplace, it kind of helps grow that trust a little bit. So this scam check report, you can get the whole thing on BBB.org. And just search scams. And I think we talked last time about how there's the scam tracker. You can break that down to your city, state, zip code, neighborhood to see where the scams are happening close to you. And you'll be surprised how many scams actually are really close to home. And so it helped people save $43 million last year where people looked at scams. And if you've been scammed, go report it to Scam Tracker so you let everybody else know what the scam is. That way there's not two of you that get scammed for the same thing. So these are the non-financial impacts of scams. The biggest thing on this, of course, is money, but it's time lost. When you get scammed, your whole world kind of gets turned around. The example I used was like last year, somebody got a hold of my credit card, I don't know how, and then I had charges on there from England. Of course, I haven't been to England lately. I haven't bought anything from there. So the bank goes, yeah, we'll give you your money back. It says, okay, now we've got to get you a new card. And I'm going, a new card? You start thinking about all the changes that you got to make. You got to make all your auto payments. And I'm going, oh, and that's all time, It's like, and half of you wants to go, well, can I just keep my card? No, you can't. You have to get a new one. So, personal information, mental health, potential earnings loss, because there's some people who, they have to do all this stuff to get caught back up, and then you may not be able to go to work, so you lose money because you couldn't go to work, or, just a plethora of things that can come up once you get scammed. So here's the 10 riskiest scams from 2024, investment in cryptocurrency. I just highly encourage you, if you don't know about cryptocurrency, don't invest in it, okay? Or if somebody even brings it up. The other part is if people want you to buy with crypto, or they want you to pay for something with crypto, the next best thing you can do is what? Hang up. Yeah, just be done with them. Because if they want crypto, once that crypto's gone, it's gone. It's just like gift cards. Once you give people the gift card number, it's history. Employment scams, they come from in a variety of different ways. They're not only out there to get your money, but they're out to get your personal information, your social security number, all that other kind of stuff, so that they can start taking loans out in your name. And remember, your information is not sacred. Anybody in here ever used a program called White Pages Pro? If you've been in the financial industry, you've probably seen it. But if I have your name, I probably can find out every phone number you ever had, every address you've ever lived at, every social media account you've ever had, the names of all your relatives. I mean, it's amazing how much information is out there. And what these scammers are just trying to do, they're trying to get the last final pieces of the puzzle to really just take you to the cleaners. Romance and friendship scams really target the elderly, and keep in mind that what they'll do is they'll kind of lead you on to become your friend. I really like you. You've never met them, but they feel like you're their personal best friend. I gave this presentation at Randy's place last month, and somebody in the room said that they knew somebody who was having a relationship with Keanu Reeves, and he was going to give them $100,000 and a brand new Porsche. And then A week or two later, Keown calls them up and says, "Hey, I'm stuck somewhere. Can you transfer me $100?" But they're still convinced that they're the best friend because Keown decided to call them. Anyways, I just thought that one was crazy. But you know, romance scams, people will target people who are lonely. And you know, the scammers will actually go through the obituaries to find out a surviving spouse who they can target. They're ruthless. Online purchases, of course, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. And that's usually where people get hit on online scams is you got a really great deal on something, so here's my credit card number, and nothing ever comes, or if it does, it's some trinket or something. Home improvement. See if everybody can remember this. What's the best thing to tell somebody who comes to your door, knocks on your door?
Shut the door.
Close.
No.
Get off my porch. There are some businesses out there who are accredited and they're good businesses, and they'll go door to door. Especially if they like go to your neighborhood and you're getting a new roof put on, then your neighbors are likely to need a new roof. So you'll see some of that. But there was a 2 weeks ago, guys right down the street, he says, well, your neighbors are getting their new security system installed in their house. And I can't remember the name of the company right now. But I went in the house and looked them up. Sure enough, they had like a D rating and a whole bunch of complaints against them. But since my neighbor was using them, then I would probably want to use them too, right? No. Phishing, social engineering, they're just people just trying to get your information. Don't ever give your information out. If anybody ever calls you and wants your information, you say, well, you have my information. You just told me. You know? You tell me. I love that one. Advanced fee loans, if you ever go for a loan and they want an advance fee up front, it's bogus, whatever it is. If you need a loan, you need money. You don't need to give somebody money. So if you have to pay an advance fee for a loan, it's bogus. Timeshare, vacations, that kind of thing, big time on scams. And then timeshare exit companies. I don't know if y'all realize this, but some of the timeshare companies also own the timeshare exit companies. And the timeshare exit companies usually want money up front to get you out of your timeshare. And then they don't even guarantee they're going to get you out of the timeshare, and they're the same company who sold it to you. It's kind of like I don't know if y'all realize this, but you know, radar detector for your car. You know the company that sells the radar to the police are the same companies that make the detectors. And so what happens is when these first came out in the 70s or whatever, you know, they went to the police and they said, hey, you guys want some radar guns? You can catch people speeding. Then they go to the retailer and go, hey, how'd you guys sell the detectors? We just sold them radar guns, and we can sell you the detectors so you can pick them up. Well, then sales start going like this, and they come, hey, we got a new radar gun. We got the new XK band. Okay, you need that, so because everybody else has got your other radar detector on. So then they go back to the retailer and they go, hey, you guys want the new radar detector?
I feel like you may have worked somewhere that sold radar detectors.
I had.
I feel like I might have bought one from that retailer.
I had quite a few of them over the years, so you do it. Government grants. The government doesn't have grants, and that's one of the biggest scams out there. And the government doesn't call you for anything. And one of the big, you'll see something here in a little bit about the carrot and the stick, and they'll try to scare people. Hey, there's a warrant out for your arrest. If you pay your fine right now, on the phone, we'll keep the police from coming to your house. They're about 3 blocks from your house right now. They'll come get you. So I don't know of a SWAT team or FBI out there, anybody who calls you ahead of time and says, oh, by the way, you can bust your door down. I mean, when they come, they come. And then, of course, the tech support. How many of y'all ever got that thing on your screen saying, don't do nothing with your computer? Yes. And most of them, you just turn your computer off and back on again, it goes away. And if that doesn't work, you can usually go into the settings and you can delete the file that actually put it there. But they're just trying to scare you. So those are the top 10 riskiest. And so here's a little breakdown of those investment cryptocurrency scams. Who's at most risk for them? People think that they're going to get rich off of crypto, which is why they want to get involved in it. That's one of the people, scammers, they prey on the emotions. How many people here would just love to be rich? So, yeah, the scammers know that. So, bottom line is that's what they kind of prey on that. And it's, the more you can get rich off of it, the bigger losses that you're going to have. Employment scams. I don't know if I've told y'all before about the guy that brought me his interview and it was all in a printed out text message and wanted me to tell him whether or not it was a scam. You ever meet these people? No? We did it all over text message. So you haven't seen this person even like in a Zoom call? No. It's real. Just convinced that this text message was real. They were going to send him a check for $3,000 to buy his computer, which cost $1,000. Of course, they wanted the difference back. That's a funny thing. Never mind. I'll go back to that. Friendship romance scams. Again, riskiest for people who are older and who have lost a spouse. Online purchase scams. 30% of all reports of scam track. 87% of people report losing money. And they're not hard to track down. A lot of times it's just like, it's a really good deal. And so a lot of these you can go to BBB.org and you can look up the name of the company and you can see if there's a scam out there on it. Home improvement scams. Again, older people. There was one just a couple weeks ago where somebody called me up, same thing, that they needed to get a roof put on their house, and the scammers came by and took their money and they never saw them again. Gone. Paid them cash.
Tell me if I'm not right, but I think that happens a lot right after a tornado. They're in the industry, and that's when people come from out of town to try to capitalize.
Yeah, they'll do that, and the other thing that they'll do is, so like, I live over in the Case Lane area, and 2 years ago there was a hailstorm that specifically hit that part of Murfreesboro. And in the last 2 years, I would say 70% of the houses have gotten a new roof. I don't know if y'all know this, but there's a piece of software out there that the roofers can get that can tell you when the hailstorms hit, when they hit, and how much damage they caused. And then what they can do is they can go back to this piece of software and then they can start targeting these houses.
James, we had a hailstorm that hit my neighborhood. This is maybe probably a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, something like that. 45 minutes after the storm was over, I was leaving the neighborhood, and there were 3 different companies, roofing trucks, driving in the neighborhood within an hour to start knocking on doors. I called my wife, and I'm like, don't answer the door.
Yeah.
The insurance companies have that software too. So if you file a claim, don't ever tell them the day.
Oh.
If you file them a claim for hail damage, and you've had a roofer come out and inspect it, and they say you do have hail damage, and you file a claim, don't give the insurance companies a day. Just say, I really don't, not sure when it happened. I just need to set that up with one of your adjusters, because then they'll come back and say, well, there wasn't a hailstorm that day.
Got it.
I used to be an agent, so I policyholders on what not to say when you get their claim name and stuff. So that's
Take pictures.
yeah.
Video.
Demographic findings. This just kind of tells you what age group and what people are most susceptible to the different scams out there. And you can see how the employment scams are up. For some reason, people over 65 don't get hit by the employment scam so much. But you can kind of see the rest of them, but they do get hit by the, the romance scams. And you can see the top 3 for the people who are 65 plus. I mean, that's right in line with what we've been saying. This is how people get contacted and how much money they actually make. How did they get a hold of you in the first place? Website, social media, they're up there, internet messaging. It's amazing how many people are scammed in person. These people must be really good to be able to scam you to your face. Online classifieds are some of the big ones up there too. But of course, if it's on Facebook, it's on the web, they've got to be true, right? Yeah. Most reports scam types by type. It just kind of tells you, break it down, the type of scam and where you're going to get hit the most out of it. I've gotten, do any of y'all have the thing on your phone where you get like phone calls all the time where they're scammers? You guys know how to turn that off?
No, how do you turn it off?
You go to your settings, you go down to phone, and it says, don't ring if it's on my, only ring if it's on my contact list.
So go to settings and then where?
To phone.
And that's pretty good, but occasionally if you call somebody that's not in your contact list for business something, then if they call you back, you may or may not get that telephone call.
True. I mean, you may not want that on there because if you're in the real estate business, you don't know who's calling you, so you don't want it turned on. And so I normally have mine turned on, but I had to turn it off a couple weeks ago because I was expecting a call from somebody that I knew wasn't in my contacts. I didn't know what phone would come, so I turned it off. And then a day or two later, I'm getting these scam. I gotta go turn that back on.
I control, I've done it myself. If you get a number that is that somebody tried to all the traits of the scammer, you can key in that number and it won't allow, the number won't come to your phone anymore.
Yeah, block numbers. Yes. Yeah.
Well, they just change numbers.
Oh, yeah, they call it.
I know they changed it.
I've been surprised. I get a text message that they got me on a job for a dentist, and it's a non-USA prefix. Instead of 01, it's 22. I'm like, do they think I'm that stupid?
Somebody is. That's why they keep calling. But the other one is you'll get a phone call or a text message from something that looks like there's a company or somebody's name. And I get these at the BBB office all the time. And so what I'll do is I'll look them up. So it comes in as a business. So I look up the business, and in my notes it shows this business has been out of business, and it shows the date. So what they do is they ghost those numbers. The scammers do, to make it look like it's coming from somebody local in your neighborhood, a business you might recognize, that kind of stuff. And they're overseas. They're not even here in this country. And so it'll just kind of pop up.
I actually had one, and it was, I thought that there was something wrong with my computer, that, I had gotten a virus in it, and one of those things was screens came up. But it didn't look like the one that the link and everything, it looked like more normal. So I called the phone number and went through this whole thing. About halfway through I realized it was a scam. But I had looked up the company that I was supposedly calling back to help me, with my computer, and it was a real company. So I actually called my credit card company, cut that off, and then I told them that, hey, this is a real company, and they called that company, and they had actually hacked into that company's computer to create their scam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I found, and I didn't fall for it, but I had received, I think it was an email message from Bank of America, which is just like their logo. I mean, but they want me to go to this link to correct my information, and I'm thinking, nope. So I called Bank of America, and they sent me the fraud line, and the lady was very nice. I told her, she said, well, Cindy, would you forward that message to me? And I said, I don't know what's happening. So,
Yeah, that's one of the indicators if they want you to leave a site or click on another link.
Click on this link.
It's a scam. Yeah.
or you can click on the link at the top, you know, like, it says at the top of the email, Bank of America. But if you click on that link, the site is not a Bank of America website.
Right.
Or,
Yeah, look at the URL code too.
I think that's what that's the same.
If it doesn't bear any relationship to what,
Yeah, it's a bunch of numbers and letters and stuff, yeah.
it doesn't make any sense, yeah, I don't do it.
I had a call, and it was coming from Daphne Howard. Well, Daphne's my wife. And she was in the same room with me at the time the call came in.
The one I keep getting about 10 times a day is I'm in underwriting for about a couple $100,000.
Yep.
I'm in underwriting. They're about to send me the money. I said I've never applied for anything.
Right.
Yesterday I got one from Don and Brad saying that my Don and Brad number has me qualified for over $2 billion. But I got 24 hours to get it. I gotta have it right now. It's yesterday.
So the FOMO, fear of missing out, that a lot of the scammers use, if you don't have it now,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I got one this morning that says, hey, my Comcast 50% discount is gonna apply. If you don't call back within 24 hours, it's gone forever.
Yep.
I don't think we have Comcast. And then the other one, you can't tell if they're real or not. And so my wife had been getting these emails saying, hey, we want to hire you. Delete. Send them to her again, delete. So they finally got her number and they called her and says, hey, we're from this company and we do books and we're very interested in you doing a book for us. And it ended up being a real thing. It was like, so she ended up with this big contract to do these books. And it was like, how do you know the good ones from the bad ones, you know?
That should have lost growth.
Is there any way to limit all the Medicare calls I get 3 times a day?
How do you get rid of
Not
them?
till after December.
So the first
I'll
thing,
give you around.
the first thing you gotta do is do your due diligence and make sure that you don't put your number up there for people to find you. And so I think I started the last one with this is, you know, how many times do you get a text message and you just, you type in stop? Because that just tells the person you got a real number.
Yeah, I got you.
Or if you answer the phone and it's a scammer, well now they know you answer the phone, so that number now gets shared with all their scammer friends.
Even
So-
with sending up the voicemail is the same thing, right? They can hear a voice through voicemail. If you just like send someone the voicemail.
Yeah, it can.
Okay.
Yeah. That's another way.
You had mentioned this before, I was gonna ask you, in an email or on the web, and you get it, and you go down to hit unsubscribe, you say, don't do that, because then you're telling them you're live, but then, is there another way to, I mean, because some of them you want to declutter if they're legit, I mean, it's just,
You could block it. Now, I will say this, like, if it's a website that you've shopped at before and
Yeah.
kind of stuff, and you signed up for it, then you can unsubscribe. But you just gotta know that there's a risk, especially if you just started getting these emails.
yeah.
And you don't know where it came from, well then, maybe you do want to hit unsubscribe, or you don't want to hit unsubscribe.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to unsubscribe, go to the company website.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
go straight.
I did get a scam once from John.
Did you?
I mean, it was from his email address, and he was.
Did he want you to pay money or something like that? or-
He was in Africa, and he was on a trip, and he get over.
Yeah, I want to pay a gift for my grandson for Amazon. It's like, anybody that knows me knows I didn't have enough money to buy a gift card.
Margaret and I handle these differently. Margaret gets the phone and says, "You're wasting your time, goodbye." I get the phone, I'm like, "I'm retired, I've got a few minutes." Or a text, and I worry about this one. I'll get a text, "Hey, I've seen your contact information, or your number's in my phone contacts list, and I wanted to reach out." And my text back is literally, "This is the confidential private number of former President Biden. How did you find this number? If you contact it again, NSA, CIA, and FBI will be coming after you." And they don't answer. They don't come back and go, "No, you're really not." So I kind of play with it because I'm retired. I have extra time.
I do the same thing, and the reason why I do it is I want to hear what they're scamming people about. I want to know what the story is, because that way if somebody calls me, I can go, "Yeah, that's a scam. I did through the whole thing. You know, yeah, it's a scam."
And
Another fun one is when they call you and they ask, "Can I speak to Steve Alquist?" They say, "Yeah, let me get it. Just hold on a minute." Put the phone down. I go about my business. They're wasting my time. I gotta waste theirs.
I've done that. I said, "Can you hang on a second?"
That's great.
I've heard that some of them pass the phone, pass the phone off to their 3-year-old.
I've been getting for the last month phone calls saying you're almost ready for approval. You've got your have you got that too? You know, and they say your loan is, you know, we just need a couple of pieces of information.
Right.
But they're persistent. I mean,
I'll give them bogus information as well. I'll just start giving them bogus information.
some of the romance crowd has found a whole new, well, it's not new anymore, but they would go on Facebook and troll and look at groups, and it may be about a subject, let's just say travel. And if you respond, somebody asks a question, you respond with an answer, and then some, I don't know who, will say, "I really like your smile and I'd like to be in touch with you." And I just love going to see what their picture looks like, and about 99% of the time, they're a military person. Well, they're not a military person, you know, they're a military person. I just got, so it's a game.
So I had a big time when I have Credit Karma, I check it a lot. Capital One binged my credit. I don't have a Capital One card. And I called Capital One. It took me a long time to get through to a customer service rep. I called and I'm like, she's like, "Your account number?" I'm like, "I don't have an account. That's why I'm calling you. Because you binged my credit. And I'm like, I need to bring this to someone's attention." She said, "Well, sometimes we just do that for our marketing. And I'm like, all right, fine. You want to play it off? I'll let it go. I'll let it go." And then about 2 weeks later, I got a call from Capital One. And they asked me straight up. They said, "Ms. Vincent, did you apply for a credit card with Capital One?" And I said, "No, I didn't." And then, as a matter of fact, I tried to call you guys and tell you I didn't. And the whole thing was a scam. I got on she passed me along to her supervisor, and she said, "You've been the victim of a scam here, and they have your name, your address, your phone number, and your social security number. You might want to do some stuff." I immediately went online and blocked my credit report. So froze my credit report, so nobody can get to it unless I tell them to. And which I think is a good idea for everyone. Freeze your credit report. They actually, and I didn't do this because I really didn't understand it, but she said, call your phone provider and see what kind of security they can put on your SIM card. I've never heard of that.
I heard one the other day that I didn't realize that T-Mobile will sell you additional service, to keep the scam calls from coming in.
That sounds like a scam of a scam.
That's what I'm thinking.
Are all those phone calls coming from T-Mobile numbers?
It's like, if you can stop that, why are you gonna charge me extra for that? Why don't you just provide that as a service?
So, wait a minute, then, like, 2 weeks after that, I got a letter from Discover asking me if I had applied for a Discover card. So I got on the phone with Discover. Then when they stopped that one, apparently, these people got pissed at me, and they sent my email to like every email outlet in the world because it was just filling up with junk in every different language you can imagine.
Time to change your email.
I've read this on some of experiences. You know,
Did you read it online or Facebook?
probably an AARP or something like that. Good source of information. Anyway, that your recurring expenses that you have every month, you have to put those on a separate credit card. So when that credit card gets hacked or your other cards get hacked, you only have one that's got your recurring charges on. Do you follow me?
That's good.
Have you ever? I haven't done that yet.
I've heard that, but it's not about it.
But one time I had credit cards stolen 3 times in a row. After I changed them all back and paid everybody off.
I've seen that too, and so what happens is you're using that card somewhere where there's a skimmer, and you just can't figure out. I got one business, and every month he has to give me a new credit card for his monthly payments, and I'm going, where are you using this card at? You know. The other thing you could do is on your bank accounts, go in and put a limit on how much can come out at any given time. And so that way, if they ever do get a hold of you, they can only get the minimum. So I tried to transfer some money last night to a brokerage account, and I had set that limit before, and I put more than that in there, and it goes, no, you can't do that. It's not allowed. And I'm like, oh, that's right. I have a limit on this. So I'll have to go back again and do it.
Then one other thing, my son pointed out to my wife, debit cards you just don't give debit cards out, the numbers out. Don't use them on your phone. If you are scammed, once they get the money, it's gone.
Debit cards, you should give the information. The debit or credit card, you should give both. You can challenge your bank.
You can.
You can.
You can fill out an affidavit. It's going to
But
take
credit
longer
has
to
more
get.
protection than debit.
Yeah, it's
And
going to take you longer.
It
to
depends
get
on how you transact with the card. If you transact with a debit card as a credit transaction, it has the same protections as a credit card. It's not the card, it's how the transaction works. If you put your PIN in as a debit transaction, that has different protections. But if you go just swipe it, or I guess chip it, or whatever, it has essentially efficient. So one thing I would say is, I see this a lot with customers. If you are using a debit card, do not keep all of your money in that account. Make sure you have a bill pay account and you have a debit card account. So that whether it's temporary and whether you get your money back, if you have $10,000 and it's all attached to where your debit card is and someone wipes it out, now for whatever period of time, it could be 4 days, that's still inconvenient. When you pay bills through bill pay, that bill pay check does not have your account number on it. It has the bill pay clearing account from the bank on it. The other thing is, I'm sorry, but stop writing checks. Throw away your checks. Stop handing people your name, your address, your routing number, and your account number. Just stop.
Unless you're broke.
Don't use,
Unless
unless you're
you're
giving it to
Yeah,
I should say stop putting checks in the mail. Yeah, stop putting checks in the mail, because all I would have to do, I bet you if you drove around your neighborhood at the end of the month and just cleared out everybody's mailboxes and had all their checks, you could go wherever, steam open the envelope, copy all their bank account information, seal them up, mail the checks so the payments go through, and you just stole everybody's account information. And all you need to transact, actually all you need to print checks, you can get on Amazon right now and buy check stock. If I have your check, all I have to do is get on my printer and just spit out as many checks as I want.
And those been out for
And
years,
start
first checks.
So, stop writing checks to people that you don't hand the check to, and stop putting ACH information into websites. Stop it. Use a credit card or use a debit card attached to an account that doesn't have any money in it unless what you need. So, stop giving people your account.
Most banks, Andrew, will let you set up. I have one that's set up if it is a online charge, we'll say, a credit card charge, that it's not my routine kind of thing.
It'll alert you.
I get
Yeah.
an alert.
Set up your
And
alert.
they'll say, do you wanna pay this? And I'll look and see, did I do that? Well, yes, I did. I couldn't, you know.
And so, and this is a little bit of a sales pitch, but if you own a business where you have to print checks, you have to issue checks just by the nature of your business, talk to your bank about positive pay. If you don't know what positive pay is, you can, someone can steal and write all the checks that they want. If you haven't gone into your online banking system and said that you wrote that check, it won't clear. So to me, that's the best way to do it, because it doesn't matter how many checks they steal, it'll bounce all those checks unless you entered it. Do it that way, but if at all possible, just send bill pay. From a personal standpoint, you can just, every online banking I've seen, you can type in anybody's information you want to send a check to, whether it's a business or not, manually create a bill pay and mail the check out. And it'll go through the bill pay system, not yours.
And there's new credit card systems, the one-time use credit cards. We get a lot of those
Yeah.
out there.
But what does
Real
this
quick on
say?
this, these are the top.
Hang on, Dave.
James,
Do it.
what does this say to us? Is this something we want to pass on to the next generations? Because obviously it is robbing the quality of life in a democratic society. So do we pass this injustice, this predatory lifestyle on to the future generations for them to inherit, to resolve? And because it says we've normalized corruption. What does it say for our generation that we pass on to our children and their children? Is this acceptable? Because we've spent 45 minutes just intrigued with all of the ways that people rob each other.
And we've even learned additional ways on how to do
And it
so.
hadn't changed in 20 years. Like nothing.
Right.
All the stuff you could do 20 years ago online when I started all my
Yes.
nothing, no protection. They've tried and tried, but every time they tried,
Exactly.
And then it gets to be political.
yeah.
I mean, you've seen the stuff in the news lately where
Oh yeah.
one, I don't care which, one party says, well, you can't do that. Well, that makes sense. Well, no, you can't do that. Well, it makes sense.
Well, we've normalized it,
Right.
and how are we educating ourselves to make it possible for this to continue generation after generation? We're going to self-destruct at some point.
I think
financially
one
as
of the
well as
challenges with a lot of these scams and staying ahead of it is that the way people transact, the way people communicate, the way businesses are run is changing so fast that it's
Right.
every time it changes, it provides another opportunity for the people who want to rob from you to use this new thing.
But it speaks
to-
to the moral decay of humanity.
Yeah. I mean, they were
That's
selling
deeper-
snake oil,
It's deeper
you know,
than just the
1,000 years ago.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm concerned
I think-
that we're not really discussing the root of this.
Well,
We just continue to find another way to circumvent it.
right, and then, well, it would get into politics if we started talking about all the.
Well, no, it's
You
not
know-
politics.
I mean, I agree.
It's
Yeah.
spiritual.
I mean,
Well, to me,
there's.
It is spiritual.
Gloria, if you report it, or if you can report it,
Right.
there's, I mean, you don't know how to report some of this stuff, you don't know what to do.
Well, there has to be.
Go scam tracker.
Yeah. Can you get me back up
Right,
here?
and
Andy.
Yeah, decreasing poverty.
Andy.
We're chasing rabbits down side roads.
Tangible things, but it has something
Yeah, this is
to do.
We really derailed.
Well,
I think these things are being amplified by the same thing, the same mechanisms that all the negativity is being amplified by. Communication moves too fast and in too broad a scope for us to handle as people, because this is just my opinion. I think human beings are not meant to interact with 7 billion people. You know, human beings are meant to interact with their community, and now everything is amplified across the world, including this stuff. And I don't know the answer, Gloria. I think the answer.
people who are creating it.
One more.
Sure. Something came up
Source of
at the Crime Stoppers meeting on my board, is that you should not put a payment by check in your mailbox or in the mailbox outside the post office.
I go back to don't use checks.
I wouldn't even give it to the people in the post office. No offense to any postal
They're
workers,
taking the
but
check,
they're all
washing
humans.
the amount off, put another amount in, you get your signature.
Yeah, there's all kinds of ways to do it. One last thing, go to bbb.org. September is actually National Preparedness Month. Be prepared. This article on BBB right now tells you how to, like, do you have a plumber? Do you have an electrician? You don't want to wait till the last minute till you need something. What's your emergency preparedness plan? And then if you don't, build a relationship with businesses. If you don't have a relationship with a plumber, you should build a relationship with a plumber. Because if something catastrophic happens and you need a plumber, they're going to go to the people they have a relationship first. And then they're going to try and get a hold of you. So you just look at that, the National Preparedness Month on bbb.org.
James, can we go online even if we're not in the, I mean, I'm not with Better Business Bureau, I'm just a single person, you know, it's my own family. Can I go online and look at all this stuff?
Go to bbb.org and you can find stuff for businesses, stuff for consumers. Look up businesses to see if you want to use them or you don't want to use them. It's all in there, yes.
Just go back to, I want to make sure I heard what you said. Did you say that individuals can set up positive pay?
No. I was saying individually, if you just use your online banking bill pay, it's not the same as positive pay, but it keeps your account number from being mailed. And it, you know, your bill pay, like when I pay Middle Tennessee Electric, they show up as Middle Tennessee Electric. You know, they're in the bill pay system. But even if you want to send a check to a person, you can just choose manual biller, and you can please put in my information and send the check to me, and then I'll deposit it. So. All right. Thank you, James.
Hey, Andrew.
Sir.
I think you had something.
Yes.
Along the line of making those payments, Cash App, all those things, what's your take on that? Because I know a lot of people are getting scammed through that, and that's
you have no recourse with Cash App and Venmo and Apple Pay. It is an electronic transaction, but it's not covered under the same regulations as a credit card or debit card charges credit. So I'm not on this side of the bank anymore. We do have people come in that'll say, oh, someone stole my money through Cash App and I had my debit card connected to Cash App. I need the bank to help me with this. Well, sorry, you didn't transact. Your transaction with Cash App was connected to the bank, but that's not where the fraud was. The fraud was between the person and Cash App, and the bank can't help you. So I would say be very cautious using Venmo and Cash App. I use Venmo for my babysitters, and that's it, and I know where she lives. So if she scams me, I go to her house. You know,
that's a great segue.
What?
So what do you do? Like, the girl that does my hair takes Venmo.
Well, but you know, I would say don't use Cash App or Venmo to somewhere you're standing there when she does your hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about Zelle?
Yeah, Zelle.
So Zelle, I don't know the Zelle regulations, so I don't want to misstate it. But Zelle was created by banks, so banks it was sort of their answer to Venmo. It doesn't work as easily as Venmo, but
Are there any known scams currently?
Yeah, that's good. Hold on, I'm still answering questions. Go ahead, Gary. Known Zelle scam?
But no, so I'm trying to understand, are there any known scams for Venmo, Cash App? Because that's a huge platform.
Oh, sure.
A
Well,
lot of people use.
it's really correct me if I'm wrong, James, I think it's more that's the transaction on the end of the fraud. So they're committing fraud and trying to get you to send them money, and they might use Cash App or Zelle, or Venmo, because although Venmo's gotten better, they're more trackable than it used to be, but
PayPal is better too.
Yeah, PayPal is better. So the ones, what happens is they get big, and then regulators come after them, like Zelle, and they said, hey, wait a minute, we've got people making $50,000 a year through Zelle, and you're not reporting it for taxes. You better start handling this like a bank would handle transactions. So the really big ones, and Cash App I don't think is there yet, but so PayPal and Zelle are better because there's some regulations, but it's more so that those are the mechanism for it's like a gift card, the mechanism for paying the fraud, right?
My PayPal had 2 purchases of $200 for cryptocurrency. And I called PayPal.
I mean, anything
and I'm
can
like,
anything can
I
be
need
hacked. So.
these. And they fixed it immediately.
Yeah. So I would, and as sad as it is, what I would say is just assume you're going to get scammed and money will be taken. And no, I genuinely mean this. And choose to transact in ways that protect you when it happens, right? So that if you transact in a way that you have protections, then when it happens, it's as easy as a phone call to the bank saying, I didn't do that credit card charge, and it's fixed, right?
Second bank account.
Yes.
So are you really saying that like paying your electric bill, your water bill, all that, you should either do that through the bank's bill pay or through a credit card
Yes.
and not through
Yes.
your bank?
Because even if you took that check to the post office, the postal workers are going to handle it. The mail person in the mail room at the utility is going to handle it, right? If I just take one envelope out of 10,000 and stick it in my pocket, sorry, I don't know where your payment went. It got lost, right?
Now,
So-
I'm not talking about like mailing a check.
Oh, you're talking about
I'm
ACH?
Yes,
Yeah.
if you have ACH set up.
Yeah, because what
saying
you're
that
doing
that's
is you're typing your bank account
Yes.
information, and ACH dispute. If anybody's ever disputed an ACH transaction, it can take weeks because you have to fill out an affidavit, you have to do all kinds of things. An electronic card transaction charged as credit has specific regulations. Am I still live streaming? Okay. Look up Reg E and read Reg E information, and it will explain all of the protections that are there. So institutions, yes, there's lots of great customer service with banks, but I got to be honest with you, when I hear someone say my bank was so fantastic, they took care of that, hopefully the customer service was good, but that's not why they took care of it. They took care of it because they're required by law to take care of it. So.
You know, and what most people need to truly understand is the utilization of a credit card to pay your bills versus your debit and whatnot. The credit card, it's a perk there. One, it's secure, but then those points.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been doing this for years. That's how they was able to travel with kids and get them exposed, was utilizing the Southwest cards and Marriott cards. And that's what, it's secure and that's what you get done.
I'm really sorry I have 1 minute to get through some club business and then we can continue.